Hi, this is Lee from the Law School Toolbox and the Bar Exam Toolbox. Welcome to another quick tips episode. If you are listening to this, you've likely just completed the bar exam. And first of all, congratulations. Taking the bar exam is a significant achievement regardless of the outcome, and you should be proud of yourself for making it through. Today, we're talking about something that deserves more attention, the post-bar recovery period. Those weeks between finishing the exam and receiving your results can be a strange limbo time filled with a mix of emotions. You might be experiencing relief, anxiety, exhaustion, or even a surprising emptiness now that this all-consuming goal is behind you. So let's talk about how to navigate this unique period with intention and care so you can recover physically and mentally while positioning yourself for whatever comes next. Many bar takers are caught off guard by the emotions that hit after the exam. So let's normalize what you might be experiencing. First, there's often the whiplash effect, the jarring transition from intense, structured studying to sudden freedom. After months of 8 to 10 hour study days and having every minute planned, the abrupt stop can actually feel destabilizing. You might find yourself experiencing relief mixed with anxiety about results, a strange sense of loss or purposelessness, guilt about enjoying yourself while results are pending, physical and mental exhaustion finally catching up with you, recurring thoughts or dreams about missed issues on the exam. These feelings are all completely normal. In fact, I like to call it post-bar exam depression, and it's so common it deserves its own acronym. You've just come down from an adrenaline high that lasted for weeks or months, and your brain chemistry needs time to recalibrate. I find it helpful to think about post-bar recovery in 3 distinct phases. So let's talk about phase 1, the immediate decompression of the first week. This phase is all about physical rest and mental detachment. Your brain and body need immediate recovery time. Give yourself permission to do absolutely nothing productive for at least 2 to 3 days. Sleep as much as your body needs. Some people report sleeping 10 to 12 hours after the exam. Stay hydrated and reintroduce nutritious foods if your diet suffered during bar prep. Avoid making major life decisions in this immediate aftermath. And consider a complete digital detox for 24 or 48 hours. Engage in gentle physical movement to release tension, like walking, stretching, yoga, something like that. One thing I strongly recommend, pack away all your bar materials. Don't leave them sitting out as a visual reminder. Put them in a box, stick them in a closet, and make a conscious choice not to revisit any questions or issues from the exam. Now, let's be real. Many of you don't have the luxury of a decompression period. If you're heading straight back to your desk, you'll need a different approach. First, carve out micro recovery moments. Even 10-minute breaks throughout your workday can help reset your mental state. Consider blocking your lunch hour as non-negotiable recovery time. Be strategic about your evenings by establishing a firm work completion time and dedicating at least 1 hour before bed to genuine relaxation. And no, checking work emails doesn't count. Importantly, communicate boundaries to colleagues when possible who might not realize what you've just accomplished. A simple, I just finished the bar exam, so I'm still getting back up to speed, can manage expectations. Remember, recovery doesn't always require large chunks of time. Consistently protecting small moments can be surprisingly effective for your mental resilience. Weekend recovery becomes crucial too, so consider scheduling at least 1 weekday as a bar exam detox day, where work is completely off limits. Phase 2, let's call Reengagement, which is around weeks 2 to 4. After that initial rest period, it's time to gradually re-engage with the world and reestablish healthy routines. So reconnect with friends and family you may have neglected during bar prep. Resume or start a regular exercise routine. Many people find this helps with residual anxiety. Consider scheduling a physical checkup or other doctor's appointments if you've been putting it off. Gradually reintroduce intellectual stimulation through books, podcasts, or documentaries. Create a flexible daily structure to replace your rigid study schedule, and take on small, manageable projects that give you a sense of accomplishment. This is also a great time to practice mindfulness about your thought patterns. If you find yourself constantly replaying the exam or obsessing over results, gently redirect your focus to the present moment. The results will come when they come, Ruminating won't change them. Now, phase 3 is future planning and waiting for results. The final phase involves thoughtfully considering your next steps while maintaining emotional equilibrium, if that's possible. So create 2 simple plans, one for if you pass, one for if you don't. Focus on career development activities that are valuable regardless of results. Consider volunteering to keep your legal skills fresh if you are not working at a job. Network in low-pressure settings, coffee meetings rather than more formal interviews. Research CLE opportunities or legal areas of interest. Establish healthy habits that will serve you in your legal career. And consider looking at finances, something that may have been set aside during bar prep. Do you not have a budget? We'll link to our episodes from You Need a Budget about how to set up your life before you start working. This balanced approach keeps you moving forward while acknowledging the reality that bar results will impact your immediate next steps. Now let's talk about some specific strategies that we recommend. Your body has been through more than you realize. So here are some ideas about how to nurture it back to health. You may have a sleep deficit. I know I did after my bar exam. So really aim for 7 to 9 quality hours nightly. Establish a consistent sleep schedule because your body still needs a routine even if you're not studying for the bar. Make sure you move your body and try to do something fun, maybe something you didn't have time to do while you were studying. Gradually go back to more intense exercise if that's something that you like to do. Watch out for increased alcohol consumption. It's common to celebrate, but moderation is key. And if somebody's looking for a way to congratulate you on passing the bar, ask for a gift certificate to get a massage or other body work to release physical tension. Now, your brain needs just as much care as your body, so you're going to have to create some boundaries around exam talk. Limit time discussing or ruminating. Practice saying, I'm taking a break from thinking about the bar when people ask you about it. Engage in activities that require presence like cooking, gardening, hiking, or that's one of the reasons I play tennis. Reconnect with hobbies and interests you set aside during bar prep. Consider journaling to process the experience. And if it sounds good to you, explore meditation or breathing exercises for anxiety management. It's also important to reconnect with your social support system. Express genuine gratitude to those who supported you during this bar prep time. Plan quality time with people who don't need to talk to you about the exam. Consider a small celebration to mark the accomplishment of finishing, even if it's just a dinner party with friends. Be selective about social media and Reddit. It can increase anxiety during the waiting period. I want to say that again. Please be careful about spending time on Reddit. Reconnect with non-law school friends who can provide perspective. And communicate your needs clearly if people are pressuring you about results or want to talk about the exam. And if you don't already have a job lined up or you are not working, this is also a time to thoughtfully think about the transition toward your legal career. If you haven't done so recently, update your resume while the accomplishment of completing the bar is fresh. Reconnect with professional contacts that you may have been neglecting. Think about doing informational interviews to explore areas of interest. Think about developing skills that complement your legal practice. Take a public speaking class or a writing workshop, or even learn some new technology or study AI. Create a reading list of books relevant to your practice area, and look into pro bono opportunities that might match your interest. Your recovery needs will vary depending on your personal circumstances. If you're starting a job soon, make sure you communicate clearly with your employer about start dates. Make sure you have clothes to wear to your job if you're going to start it as well. Use any remaining time to prepare mentally for the transition back to work. You can research your employer and even think about potential assignments. And consider developing relevant skills before you start or refreshing your recollection if you haven't done this sort of work in a while. If you're job searching, create a sustainable schedule for job applications. Develop a pitch that acknowledges you've taken the bar but doesn't dwell on pending results. Focus on networking rather than just submitting random applications. And you can even consider temporary legal work to build experience. Now, if you're worried you failed, just recognize that this fear is normal and doesn't predict results. Everyone is sure they failed at some point. Create a concrete contingency plan, as that can reduce anxiety. Connect with attorneys who didn't pass on their first attempt, or read some posts like we'll link to in the show notes about folks who didn't pass on their first attempt on the Bar Exam Toolbox. Remember that many successful attorneys took the bar multiple times. Now, what about a bar trip? Many people try to travel after the bar exam. I got on a flight the morning after I finished the exam. This can be fun, but also overwhelming. I barely remember the first few days of my trip. Also, your finances may not be in a place where you can spend money on something like this. If not, I still think it's great to try and plan something special to reward yourself. Could you take a road trip, drive to see friends, crash with family, take day hikes? It doesn't need to be expensive, but traveling or getting out of your typical routines usually can help us feel like a better version of ourselves. As we wrap up, remember that the post-bar period is an opportunity, not just for recovery, but for intentionally designing the next chapter of your legal journey. The skills that you got through bar prep, discipline, perseverance, and focus, they're going to serve you well in your career. Trust that you've done everything you could to prepare for the exam, and now it's time to prepare for what comes next. Whether you're celebrating passing results or regrouping to try again, how you use this interim period does matter. The bar exam is a milestone and not a destination. Your legal career will be filled with challenges and accomplishments that far outweigh the single test. Use this time to recover, reset, and position yourself for the meaningful work ahead. And if for some reason things don't work out, you can always reach out to us and we're happy to talk to you about next steps. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give us a like, leave us a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any future content.